Weekday, we met the stars of ITV drama Playing Nice, which, of course, tells the story of toddlers switched at birth in a shocking hospital mix-up. It's a drama. It's not true, but so many people watched it, and it's so compelling because you spend the whole time watching going, gosh, can you imagine if that happened to us? What would we do? What if?
I struggled to watch it because it was so uncomfortable. Definitely resonated with people, but it's hard to imagine how something like that could actually happen in real life. But as we're about to find out, it actually does.
Yeah, Shirley Munoz Newson's life was turned upside down when, at the age of 43, she discovered the parents who raised her in Wyoming were not her parents at all. She had actually been swapped at birth.
And Shirley joins us now to share her story. Good morning, Shirley.
Morning,
Good
Shirley.
morning. Thank you so much for chatting to us this morning. Let's kind of start off, I suppose, at the beginning, really. Did you always feel like an outsider within your family, even when you were a little girl?
Yes.
And how did you feel? What made you feel like that?
The family I was raised in was very tall and white and fair skin, you know, the fair skin and everything. And then I was petite with dark skin, and I just didn't fit in.
And did that bring questions to your mind? Did you start to question yourself even from a young age? And what age did you start to feel like that?
The youngest I can remember back would probably be when I was 5 or 6 years old.
Wow. And was it discussed within the family, Shirley, that you were sort of slightly the odd one out, or did no one really talk about it?
Yes, it was talked about within the family.
But at no point did anybody say, look, maybe we should actually get this checked out. It was just more of a family, bit of family fun that you were slightly different to the others.
It was more like the mother that raised me had an affair.
Ah, OK. So everyone was very suspicious that she'd had an affair and you weren't actually the daughter of her husband.
Correct.
And were you treated differently within the family that raised you? I know you had siblings. Were you treated differently by the family, and in what ways?
Not really differently. The family had changed dynamics when I was born. So it was a cold, unfeeling house.
So it was a cold, unfeeling house. Now, it was when the father that brought you up that was very ill and his health deteriorated that you finally sort of got some answers and your world turned upside down. Tell us what happened.
The father that raised me was dying and wanted to have a DNA test done. And I was excited. I wanted to have a DNA test done, too, to prove finally who I was.
And you were 43 at this time, though. So for all those years, he'd obviously been suspicious. You needed to know something. Why had nobody said, look, should we try and get this done sooner? Why did it wait till that point, do you think, Shirley?
It was in 2000, and I don't think DNA testing had been active then.
And so what were the results of the tests?
0.00% chance he could be my father.
And at that point, what was his reaction? And also, what was the mum who raised you, what was her reaction too?
When I gave her the test results, she looked at me and she said, well, if he's not your mother or he's not your father, I'm not your mother, and I will take a DNA test to prove it. My raising father said, I knew the minute I looked at you in the cradle, you were not my daughter. You had dark hair and you were dark-skinned and you looked like none of the other children.
Wow, so the connotations really were that she had an affair, the mum that raised you, essentially. And so then she had a test done as well. And what happened then? And what was her response?
She just called me and told me that she had the test done and she wasn't my mother.
Gosh, Shirley, I can't imagine how difficult this must have been for you, particularly because within this, I think you've described it, in the environment was quite a cold and unloving environment anyway, to find out what must have been earth-shattering in many ways and maybe a little bit sort of satisfying to understand that you weren't their birth child.
Yes, it was validating. The test helped me understand my feelings.
And so then what happened next? Obviously, your brain then you know, starts to spiral, and you must be thinking,
Yeah.
who are my real parents? How am I going to find them? It must have been almost like opening Pandora's box for you.
I just became a private detective and went and looked at the library for admissions and dismissals, and I went to where the birth certificates were and did all this research and found out through my attorney found out that where my mother was, and I spoke with her.
Gosh, OK, so just before we ask about that, because that must have been an experience in itself, the hospital, you knew where you had been born, and your parents who brought you up knew where they had had their child. What did the hospital say when you went to them and said, I was swapped at birth, and and were they able to explain it?
They said maybe someone came in and switched the babies for a joke, or they were in the dads were in the grocery store and they switched carts. They came up with crazy ideas.
What, the dads switched the carts while they were shopping? That was one of their reasons. So,
Oh, my Lord.
I mean, that's even crazier
Yeah.
than the fiction that they would suggest that. I imagine that they were very nervous about admitting responsibility.
Yes.
So what happened with the hospital? Did you ever get to the bottom of what really went on?
No, we will never know.
And is that because you settled a case with them out of court, so you never got the final investigation?
Yes, and I did a lot of investigating, and there just wasn't any way you could explain how it happened.
OK, so now take us to the moment when you met your biological mum, and how did you find her?
I found her through my attorney, and she was kind of cold and very leery. She knew her daughter was her daughter, and she was very upset. So she wasn't as receptive to me.
So the daughter that you were swapped with, she fully believed that was her actual birth daughter?
Yes.
So really difficult, because she's being cold towards you. Your own family that brought you up are being cold towards you. What was their reaction to the long-lost daughter that they suddenly found?
They had parties and welcomed her, and they had banners hanging all over, and I ended up going there because of my birth mother, Polly, wanted me to go to.
And then did you eventually develop a relationship with your biological mum? And how was it?
No, I never developed a relationship with my mom. She just was not there for me. But my Aunt Mary, her sister, was. She took me in and became my surrogate mother.
And what's that been like then, to find an actual member of your blood family who has welcomed you and told you all about the history of the family and a little bit, I guess, of where your heritage is?
Yes, I'm very close to all of my biological cousins. I've learned how to cook Mexican food, and it's just exciting.
And what do you want people to take away from your story? Are you hoping that by writing the book that you've written, that you'll be able to help other people that may find themselves in a similar situation?
Yes, I want them to know that with faith, anything is possible. I survived and escaped 2 dysfunctional families.
So in the end, Shirley, would you say that you did get your happy ending that you'd been searching for all your life?
Yes, I have my husband and my children and a large extended family of biological family and family of love.
And are you still in touch with any of your siblings that you were brought up with?
Yes, my brother Bill and I are close.
Which is lovely.
Excellent.
Well, look, thank you for joining us and sharing your story. It is truly remarkable. And you know, as you say, you got your happy ending, which is the key thing in it, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. And you wrote your book, The Little Dark One, A True Story of Switched at Birth. It's available now at your website. Thank you so much, Shirley. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. So when you're watching Playing Nice...
And you say, that would never happen.
And it's a drama.
That would never happen.
Well, it happened to Shirley.
Yeah.
And it can be very... I mean, truth can be stranger than fiction as well, which it must have been.
Absolutely,
Crazy.
absolutely.
Oh, hello. Right, thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.